Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense. It's Craig Kouimanis and Dean Holmes, still together, still in the same room. We have not killed each other yet. We're powering along. How are you today, Dean?
Very good, as I was earlier today.
As you were earlier today
marathon.
In the Uncommon Sense Marathon. We're still going. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an episode of Whose Client Is It Anyway? Today we're going to be talking about who should the client be owned by, or who should they see as their provider when having financial advice. So Dean, why don't you get us kicked off on this episode?
I'll get you started with the famous saying, the client owns the client.
Yes.
I don't even really know what that means technically, but it's that kind of conversation that has always happened, that regardless of whether you're employed, you own the business, or however that might be structured, is that the client can choose to essentially follow an advisor from firm A to firm B to firm C. There's some cases in the media in relation to non-compete clauses and perpetual, whereby perhaps the client does own the client, to follow the unnamed definition. So what we're focused on here today is not whether that's good, bad, or indifferent. We're focused on it from a business perspective, is what can business owners do to actually build the right culture within their company and the culture within their clients, whereby the change of an advisor to a client is a very small speed hump in their journey with the business for the next 20 years. And so that's the outcome that we'd love to get to, is share what are some tips and tricks that we are seeing that is resulting in clients not minding if there's a new advisor in the firm.
It's the age-old thing, right? The bigger you get, the more people you have to employ. The more people you employ, the more turnover you're naturally going to get. And we've all faced these challenges. You've had young advisors come in who want equity, and the year of entitlement, as I like to still say. When and how do they deserve equity? When and how should they get it? And if they don't get it because they're impatient, they pack up and leave. And then all of a sudden you've got a whole group of clients without an advisor that they were used to for the last period. It might not be tied to equity, Dean. It might just be tied to, I found a different career opportunity, or I found somewhere else I think I want to work, or whatever it might be. If you're employing advisors that aren't business owners, then you're going to typically face this challenge over time. Yes, there's the unicorns out there who love where they work and they love the business they're in and they just want to stay there. That's fine, but that's probably not the norm. And so it's a matter of, when this person leaves, how do I keep my client stable?
Absolutely. And the work starts before the advisor leaves.
Yes.
So what we're talking about first and foremost is, what can the business be doing to ensure that the client is a client of the firm, which is what we'll be talking about. So the first one that I wanted to drop as a thought bubble in terms of building the client community and the client niche, and really leveraging this part of your business so clients feel at home with your company. And so a couple of firms that come to mind, which is Pivot and Fox and Hare, for example, they're really clear on their niche, but they're actually, what really they're clear on is building a client community that they are all standing up for the one thing. And what happens at that point in time is that the clients are somewhat connected to that community, because they understand that the business is constantly looking for ways to serve and better their financial position, not just the advisor. And so the idea that there may be turnover within these businesses, or just growth, and so therefore clients need to be moved between advisors, which either can happen. The clients are really comfortable with either of those prospects, because they know that the community that's being built for them and the business that's frankly being built around them actually works really well for the target market.
Yeah. My example of that, Dean, is a good friend of mine who runs his own financial planning firm with multiple employees. You get that turnover occurring, and most times was one advisor's out, one advisor's in. The clients have been pretty settled. There might have been one or two clients who had it happen a couple of times to them, which is unfortunate, right?
Yep.
And this client called up and said, I've got an issue with this. And so my friend, as the managing director, rang the client, fronted into it, tell me about what's going on. This advisor's changed and that advisor's changed. And he's having his little rant. He said, the only constant seems to be you. And my friend said, isn't that a great thing?
Yep.
I'm the managing director. I'm running this business. You've chosen to partner with us because you like the way our business provides you with advice. I will always find the right people to put into our business to give you that advice. And so isn't that a great thing that the one constant
is the
me?
owner? Yeah, absolutely. And so there's effort that needs to go into that particular outcome. And so
Yes.
that can this advisor and other advisors, whereby if you're disconnected from the client, so you own an advice practice whereby there's multiple advisors and you don't get the opportunity to meet all of the clients, you still need to be the face and voice of the business and the brand, so that all clients do know that you exist and all clients do know that you're there
Yes.
championing this community or this brand, however you want to think about it. And so another example of how I've been talking about and seeing this done is actually in what I like to call the one-to-many. So the webinar or the event, it can be physically or digital, it doesn't really matter. But this is a great opportunity of where the advisor themselves actually takes a step back, and it's the business owner, the CEO, the managing director, whatever the title may be. But it's these people standing up in front of an audience to talk to the audience, knowing full well that the vast majority of the people in the room don't know who you are. And so it's humbling in that context, because you don't know who you're talking to, but you're talking about a consistent message.
Yes.
That the business I lead or the business that I started has these values, and be clear on what they are, obviously, but you're championing the values. And what you deliver is important, but actually it's secondary to the communication in that non-verbal way. Is that you're communicating that this is a really strong business with core values and that will always do the right thing. And so I think at that level, you're able to once again give clients confidence that the business will be around and will make the right decisions for the clients, regardless of if there's a change in advisors or there's an advisor moving on to a different firm.
Yeah, it's not every time you go to Woolworths, you get the same checkout person.
Yeah.
Or you could go on with examples like that forever, but it's not dissimilar to that. You go to Woolworths because you like shopping at Woolworths. You don't go to Woolworths because Sally's on register 6.
No, not at all.
You know, it must have been when I worked at Foodland, people did line up because they like the way we pack their groceries. It's not that. They're going there because they like what the brand is, what it represents, what it's built. And that's the same for our advice firm. Now, we're not taking away that an advisor and a client do have a strong bond and a strong relationship, and that's fine and that's good. But it's that strong bond and that relationship should build on the company's ethos and the company's values, so that if you take out person A and insert person B, there's a little bit of getting to know each other, but everything else should feel constant and remain the same.
Absolutely. And it's up to the business leaders to be able to put these things in practice. If you want to have a seamless transfer of clients from advisor A to advisor B, you have to always be doing this. You always have to put the updates into your CRM. You've got to keep great records and great details of the conversations and the relationships. So therefore, when an advisor steps away, the client doesn't have to repeat things to the new advisor. Don't you hate when you get put on hold? Get put on hold, you run customer service, you get put on hold. Craig's really comes through in these high quality microphones. That you get put on hold, and then you have to repeat the same story to the next customer service representative who can solve your problem, theoretically. And so that is frustrating, isn't it, Craig?
It's a massive. So can you just tell me how you got to call through, Dave?
Yes, 27 minutes later. So we don't want that for our clients ever, frankly.
No.
But you don't want it at the time at which the advisor may have left, because the moment the advisor's left, that's now when they're thinking about, if new advisor doesn't know anything about me, old advisors down the road, perhaps that's when they start to think about maybe the grass is greener on the other side. And so it doesn't necessarily have to be greener, but they say maybe. Yeah. So that's one thing to think about in terms of always getting ready in keeping great data. And this helps you when you bring advisors through the business as well, which we all want to grow our practice by hiring younger advisors or juniors and teaching them through the professional year, that we want those stewards to come through and also know the clients really well before they get into a client meeting. And so that's that same record keeping and culture from that perspective.
Yeah. And this is hard, Dean. Like, it's easy to talk about, but it's a massive discipline, isn't it? Like you've really got to keep working at this. If you want a business of scale and size, then this is going to be a forever problem. It doesn't just disappear. You've got to keep working at this.
You keep working
the
at it.
discipline, keep chipping at it.
But it's building. One of the sayings that I've had for a very long time is that we are a customer service business
Yes.
that happens to deliver financial advice. And so the first element is customer service, and you can call it client service if you probably should. But if you think about it just through that lens, first and foremost, the first thing we do is a service-based business. The second thing we do is financial advice. When you use that lens, any service-based business is constantly looking about how they retain the customer, regardless of what might change in the background.
Yeah.
Okay. Woolworths retains customers, even though Sally's not on register 4. The brands that do really well, they actually focus on the service. Doesn't matter. The restaurant changes the chef, but the service was the same. And so therefore I keep going back to the same restaurant.
And in fact, if you take the Woolworths story further, there's no one on register 4 anymore.
Yes.
It's you. So you're showing up, but people are still going, or now they've innovated and pivoted a bit and they're getting someone to bring it to them, or whatever way it is. And again, that's no different to me having a different advisor.
Absolutely. So these one-to-many events is an example of how the advisor, the business owner, can get out in front of the clients. If you think about some of the brands that I've already mentioned, advisors that I've already mentioned, the face of the brand, think my friend Ben Nash, the face of the brand is not your advisor. The greatest thing that I ever spoke to Ben about, and same for some other businesses, is that the client coming into these practices as they're growing, the client doesn't even know who their advisor is going to be.
No.
So come into Pivot as an example. I don't have the full data today, but come into Pivot, meet with someone. You're agreeing that you want to be a client of Pivot Wealth, not knowing who your advisor is going to be. You've signed, just think about it as a concept. You've agreed that you want the business to solve your problems. Someone's there talking to you about what the journey is going to be like, a concierge, for want of a better word, telling you what the journey is going to be like, telling you the problems we're going to solve, etc., etc. You're agreeing that you want that firm to solve the problems, and you haven't yet met the advisor. What a great outcome.
It is a great outcome.
But it happens in so many other industries. But yet in financial advice, we think that the advisor has to do the first meeting. Has to be the front end of the process.
You call Puritap, I need my tap filter changed. You don't know who's coming to do it.
Not at all. You engage a top tier builder to build your house. You don't know who the humans are going to be on site, because you've engaged the top tier builder that you will get a high quality product out the back end. And so there's a changing in the perception of what advisors have to do in part of the process, but that's only going to strengthen the business owner having a great connection with the clients, or the clients having a really good connection with the brand of the business.
I think I really like your thought process on that. I really like the idea that it's how you establish yourself and maybe build communities around you that want to work with your brand and how your brand's seen in the community, and then people will tend to lean towards that brand. And then it won't matter exactly who the individual is under the brand. It'll just matter that brand is serving you to get the job done.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that
That's a good way to perspective.
Yeah, we've done a few examples whereby in Absolute Wealth Advisors, we've run webinars of particular content, which is not advice. It's cybersecurity, or how to use My Prosperity, or how to use other products. And some of those have been run by me. And so that's just as me putting my hand up to say that I'm an owner in the company. I don't know you, but this is something I'm quite passionate about. And so therefore we need to do that as part of our process.
Yeah, and I think that's a great one for our UncommonCents community. As you're listening to this episode, drop into the chat and put the topics you've delivered to one-to-manys for your clients. Because
we've also going to wrap this one up really quickly, because the battery on the MacBook Pro is about gone.
To die.
So we're pretty sure we've covered everything today, and we'll see you on the next episode after a battery recharge as well.
Bye.
Bye.